All right, so today we're diving deep into the world of Colleen Ballinger.
Ah, Colleen Ballinger.
You know her, she's a comedian, a singer, the YouTuber,
Right.
the one who brought us the iconic Miranda Sings.
Oh, yes. Miranda sings. How can we forget?
But lately she's been making headlines, and not exactly for the right reasons.
Yeah. For all the wrong reasons, in fact.
And you know what's fascinating about Ballinger?
Yeah, what about her?
She built a massive following by kind of blurring the lines between, like, comedy and controversy.
Right. Yeah.
So it really begs the question, was it all just a calculated act?
Oh, a calculated act to gain fame and fortune.
Exactly. Or was she a genuine artist, maybe?
A genuine artist pushing boundaries.
Yeah, pushing the boundaries of online entertainment.
Interesting question, isn't it?
It is, and that's what we're here to figure out.
Okay, let's do it.
You guys have given us a ton of information.
Oh, yeah?
Articles, we have social media posts, even some personal insights.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack.
It is. We're going to break it all down.
Break it all down.
Yeah. And try to answer the ultimate question. Grifter.
Rifter.
Gifted.
Ooh, I like that.
Did Colleen Ballinger change the world?
Change the world.
Or did she just use her talent to line her own pockets?
Okay, so let's rewind the clock.
Rewind it.
Back to 2008.
2008.
This is where Miranda Sings bursts onto the YouTube scene.
Miranda Sings.
Ballinger's most famous creation.
Right.
Do you remember her?
Oh, I remember Miranda.
The off-key singing.
Yeah.
The exaggerated makeup, the over-the-top personality.
It was impossible to ignore.
Exactly.
People either loved her or loved to hate her.
Yeah.
But either way, she was racking up millions of views
Millions.
and building this really dedicated fan base.
That's what's so fascinating about this whole thing.
It is.
Ballinger tapped into something unique.
What was it?
Miranda was like a caricature, you know?
Yeah.
But she also reflected a certain kind of earnestness.
Earnestness.
And ambition that really resonated with young people online.
And it's interesting because Ballinger didn't stop at YouTube.
Oh, no, she didn't.
Miranda Sings went on to have live comedy shows, Netflix specials.
Wow.
Even a book deal.
She was building an empire.
She was building an empire, one awkward song, an exaggerated pout at a time.
That's right. And this is where we start to see the entrepreneurial spirit of Colleen Ballinger.
Okay, the entrepreneurial spirit.
She wasn't just a performer. She was a savvy businesswoman.
Savvy, okay.
Who knew how to leverage her online fame into real-world success.
But as Miranda's popularity grew, so did the scrutiny.
Ah, the scrutiny.
And that's where we start to see the cracks in this carefully crafted persona.
Oh, those cracks.
The early controversies start to surface.
Oh.
Hinting at maybe a darker side to this comedic genius.
A darker side.
So around 2020, whispers of inappropriate behavior started circulating.
Inappropriate behavior, okay.
And a former fan, Adam McIntyre, accused Ballinger of behaving inappropriately with him when he was a minor.
When he was a minor.
Specifically, he alleged that she sent him a pair of underwear.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know.
That's a pretty shocking.
I mean, even if it was intended as a joke,
yeah,
it definitely crosses a line.
Especially considering the power dynamic.
Exactly. The power dynamic between a famous YouTuber and a young fan.
Absolutely. And this incident raised serious questions about Ballinger's judgment and her interactions with young fans.
And while she did issue an apology at the time,
yeah, she did,
calling it a completely stupid thing to do.
Right.
The internet, as we know, has a long memory.
The internet never forgets.
And unfortunately for Ballinger, those whispers of inappropriate behavior would soon become a roar of accusations.
Oh, no, a roar.
In 2023, a new wave of allegations emerged.
New allegations.
This time far more serious and far more damaging to her carefully curated image.
So these allegations went beyond just questionable judgment.
Beyond questionable judgment.
We're talking accusations of grooming inappropriate relationships with minors and exploitation.
Wow.
The question we have to ask is, was this a pattern of behavior?
Pattern of behavior.
That was always present lurking beneath the surface of her comedic persona.
Okay.
Or did fame and power corrupt someone who was initially well-intentioned?
That's the question, isn't it?
It is a big question.
Let's dive into these allegations.
Let's dive in.
We need to understand the specifics and the evidence that was brought forward.
Okay.
Because these are more than just rumors.
Right.
These are claims that could potentially derail Ballinger's entire career.
Okay, so one of the key pieces of evidence in these allegations...
Yeah, tell me about it.
...is the Colleen's Weenies group chat.
Colleen's Weenies.
This was a private Twitter group where Ballinger allegedly interacted with underage fans.
Underage fans.
And according to screenshots shared by Adam McIntyre.
Adam McIntyre again?
The conversations went far beyond casual fan interaction.
Yeah, I remember reading about those screenshots.
You do.
Apparently, Ballinger was asking these young fans inappropriate questions about their sex lives.
Wow.
Definitely not the kind of behavior you'd expect from someone who built their brand on family-friendly comedy.
No, not at all. And it wasn't just online interactions that were raising red flags.
Oh, really?
Johnny Silvestri, another former fan,
Another former fan.
came forward with claims that Ballinger offered him a job on her tour bus
On her tour bus.
when he was just 16 years old.
That's incredibly concerning.
It is.
It suggests that Ballinger may have been using her position of power to take advantage of young fans who admired her.
Yeah.
And if these allegations are true, it raises the question of whether she was exploiting them.
Exploiting them for cheap labor or worse.
And what's troubling is that Silvestri's allegations don't end there.
Oh, they don't?
He also claimed that he was drastically underpaid for his work on the tour bus,
Underpaid.
and that both Ballinger and her then-husband Joshua Evans emotionally manipulated him.
Wait, her husband was involved too?
Yeah,
This just keeps getting more complicated.
it does.
Yes. Joshua Evans plays a significant role in this story.
He does.
And adding another layer to this already messy situation,
Okay.
Evans actually issued a public apology to Silvestri on Twitter.
He did.
He admitted to exploiting Silvestri for free labor.
So he confirmed at least part of Silvestri's accusations.
He did.
Wow. So her own husband admitted to wrongdoing?
Yeah.
That must have been a huge blow to Ballinger's reputation.
It must have been.
Did she ever address Evans's apology or the allegations against her?
Not directly. She continued to maintain her innocence and deny any involvement in the exploitation of Silvestri.
Okay, but Evans's apology definitely cast a shadow over Ballinger
Definitely.
and raised even more questions about her judgment and the people she surrounded herself with.
It did.
So we have allegations of inappropriate online behavior,
Right.
questionable job offers to underage fans,
Yeah.
and a public apology from her ex-husband admitting to exploitation.
Mm-hmm.
This is starting to look like a pattern of behavior,
A pattern.
not just isolated incidents.
Right. And unfortunately, it doesn't stop there.
It doesn't.
We still need to discuss the allegations of Ballinger making young fans uncomfortable during her live shows as Miranda sings.
Oh, right, the live shows.
And we need to unpack the accusations against her brother, Trent.
Her brother, Trent.
These are serious claims that we can't ignore.
Yeah, this deep dive is getting darker by the minute.
It is.
We're starting to see a very different side of Colleen Ballinger.
Yeah, a different side.
One that's far from the bubbly comedic persona she presented to the world.
Right.
But the question remains,
What's the question?
was this all part of a calculated act?
A calculated act?
Was she a master manipulator who used her talent and charisma to deceive her fans and build an empire on a foundation of exploitation?
Okay.
Or was she a flawed individual who made some terrible mistakes and got caught in a web of her own making?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And that's what we're going to explore further in parts 2 and 3 of this deep dive.
Parts 2 and 3.
Can't wait.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the Colleen Ballinger saga.
The saga continues.
In part 1, we laid out the foundation of her career,
Foundation.
the meteoric rise of Miranda Sings the savvy business moves,
Right.
and the early whispers of controversy
Whispered.
that hinted at something darker lurking beneath the surface.
Lurking. Yeah.
We saw how Ballinger masterfully crafted this persona
Masterfully crafted.
that resonated with millions, blurring the lines between comedy and controversy.
Blurring the lines, right?
But as her fame grew, so did the scrutiny.
The scrutiny always follows.
And those early whispers of inappropriate behavior
Those whispers.
transformed into a chorus of serious accusations.
A chorus of accusations.
Exactly. We explored those accusations in detail.
We did.
The alleged grooming, the questionable relationships with underage fans,
Right.
and the potential exploitation that went on behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
And we left off with a big question hanging in the air.
A big question.
Was this all part of a calculated act?
Calculated.
Was Colleen Ballinger a manipulative mastermind
A mastermind.
who used her talent to deceive her fans for personal gain?
That's the question we're going to grapple with today.
Let's grab
Because in this part of the deep dive, we're shifting our focus to the aftermath of these accusations.
the aftermath.
We're going to examine how Ballinger responded to the controversy,
Okay,
how her fan base reacted,
the fan base.
and ultimately what this whole saga reveals about the nature of online fame in the age of social media.
So let's rewind back to 2023.
2023.
The allegations against Ballinger are exploding across the internet.
Exploding.
Her carefully crafted image is crumbling,
Girl,
and her career is hanging in the balance.
hanging in the balance. What does she do?
What does she do?
Well, after a period of silence,
Silence.
Ballinger decides to address the accusations head on.
Head on. Okay.
But she does it in a way that only Colleen Ballinger could.
How so?
She releases a 10-minute ukulele song on her YouTube channel.
A ukulele song.
A ukulele song.
Seriously.
Seriously.
That's her response to accusations of grooming and exploitation.
That's right, a ukulele song.
I remember watching that video.
You do.
And cringing. It felt so insincere, like she was trying to make light of a very serious situation.
Exactly, and the lyrics themselves seemed more focused on defending herself and playing the victim.
Playing the victim.
Rather than taking responsibility for her actions.
But if we're giving her the benefit of the doubt...
Benefit of the doubt.
Maybe she just completely misjudged the situation.
Misjudged.
Maybe she genuinely thought this was a good way to address the accusations and reconnect with her fans.
It's possible she's just terrible at apologies and public relations.
Terrible at apologies.
That's certainly a possibility, but regardless of her intent.
Regardless of intent.
The ukulele apology backfired spectacularly.
Backfired.
It added fuel to the fire of controversy and further alienated many of her fans.
So what was the fallout from the ukulele apology?
The fallout.
Did she lose sponsors?
Oscars?
Did her fan base turn on her?
The fan base?
Did she face any real consequences for her alleged actions?
Well, the reaction was definitely mixed.
Mixed, okay.
Some fans were unwavering in their support.
Unwavering.
Believing the accusations to be false or exaggerated.
False or exaggerated.
They rallied around Ballinger,
Rallied.
defending her online and dismissing the critics as haters or part of a cancel culture mob.
That's a common pattern we see with online celebrities.
It is a common pattern.
They cultivate these intensely loyal fan bases.
Intensely loyal.
Who often feel a personal connection to them.
A personal connection.
And those fans can be very quick to defend their idols, even in the face of serious accusations.
Right, and that dynamic is at play here.
That dynamic.
Ballinger had built a career on relatability and authenticity.
Relatability and authenticity.
She presented herself as the quirky girl next door.
Quirky girl next door.
Who just happened to be incredibly talented and successful.
Talented and successful.
And for many fans, that image was hard to reconcile with the allegations of manipulation and exploitation.
So you had one segment of her fan base fiercely defending her.
Fiercely defending.
But what about the other side? The people who felt hurt and betrayed by her alleged actions.
Hurt and betrayed. Well, for many of those fans, the ukulele apology was the final straw.
The final straw.
They felt like she wasn't taking their concerns seriously.
Not seriously.
And that she was more interested in protecting her image than making amends.
Protecting her image. And those fans were vocal in their criticism.
Vocal.
They called her out on social media. They wrote articles condemning her behavior.
Condemning her behavior.
And they encouraged others to boycott her content.
A boycott. Yes, the backlash was significant.
Significant.
And it started to have real-world consequences.
The real-world consequences.
Some brands distanced themselves from Ballinger.
Distanced themselves.
Unwilling to be associated with the controversy.
A controversy.
She faced criticism from fellow YouTubers and online creators.
Fellow YouTuber.
Who felt she had crossed a line.
Crossed a line.
And her live shows were canceled, impacting her income and her ability to connect with fans in person.
Canceled shows. So even though she wasn't formally charged with any crimes, the court of public opinion was definitely passing judgment.
The court of public opinion.
And that judgment was having a tangible impact on her career.
A tangible impact. Absolutely. And this is where we start to see the complexities of cancel culture play out in real time.
Cancel culture.
Because while Ballinger wasn't completely canceled in the sense that she disappeared from the internet.
Not completely canceled.
Her reputation was undoubtedly tarnished.
Tarnished.
And the question became, could she ever recover from this?
Would she recover? It's a fascinating question, isn't it?
It is.
Because in the digital age, reputation is everything.
Reputation is everything.
And once that reputation is damaged, it can be incredibly difficult to rebuild trust and regain the support of your audience.
Incredibly difficult. Exactly. And in Ballinger's case, the accusations against her were particularly damaging.
Particularly damaging.
Because they struck at the heart of her brand.
The heart of her brand.
She had built a career on being relatable, authentic, and family-friendly.
Relatable, authentic, family-friendly.
But these allegations painted a very different picture.
A different picture.
One of manipulation, deceit, and willingness to exploit those who admired her.
So after the ukulele apology and the ensuing backlash, What did Ballinger do?
What did she do?
Did she retreat from the public eye?
Retreat.
Did she try to rebuild her image?
Rebuild her image.
Did she address the allegations in a more meaningful way?
Well, after a period of relative silence, Ballinger did eventually return to YouTube.
Return to YouTube.
But the question is, did she learn from her mistakes?
Learn from mistakes.
Did she demonstrate genuine remorse and a commitment to change?
Genuine remorse.
Or was she simply trying to weather the storm and get back to business as usual?
Weather the storm.
Those are the questions we're going to explore in part 3 of this deep dive.
Part 3.
We'll analyze her post-controversy content, examine her interactions with fans, and try to determine whether she was truly a drifter who got caught or a gifted artist who made some serious mistakes.
A grifter or a gifted artist? Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive
The final part.
into the Colleen Ballinger saga.
The saga.
We've explored her rise to fame,
The rise.
the evolution of her Miranda sings persona,
Miranda.
and the accusations that shook her career to its core.
Shook her career.
But now we're at a crossroads.
The crossroads.
After the ukulele apology, the backlash, and a period of relative silence,
Silence.
Colleen Ballinger returned to the online world.
She returned.
The question is, did she come back? Change?
Changed. That's what we're here to dissect.
Okay, dissect away.
Did she acknowledge the harm she caused,
All harm,
demonstrate genuine remorse,
remorse.
and make amends for her past actions?
Amends?
Or did she just try to sweep the controversy under the rug
Under the rug.
and resume her career as if nothing had happened?
As if nothing happened. So let's rewind to November 2023.
November 2023.
5 months after the ukulele apology song,
Ukulele apology.
Ballinger uploads a new video to her YouTube channel.
Ooh.
It's a vlog-style video,
Photo.
very much in line with her previous content.
Previous content.
She talks about her life, her family, her upcoming project.
Life, family, projects.
But there's a noticeable shift in tone.
I shift.
Would you say so?
Yes, the once bubbly, almost manic energy of Colleen Ballinger
Manic energy.
is replaced with a more subdued, introspective demeanor.
Subdued.
She briefly acknowledges the controversy,
Briefly.
stating that she's made mistakes and is working on being better.
The stakes being better.
But there are no specific apologies.
No apologies.
No direct addressing of the accusations.
No addressing accusations.
And no details about the steps she's taking to change.
No steps to change. It's a vague apology at best.
Vague.
And for many of her critics, it wasn't nearly enough.
Not enough.
They wanted to see accountability,
Accountability.
concrete actions,
10.
and a genuine understanding of the harm she had caused.
Understanding the harm. Right, and this is where the debate about cancel culture and redemption becomes especially relevant.
Cancel culture and redemption.
Because while Ballinger faced consequences for her actions, lost sponsorships, canceled shows, and a damaged reputation,
Damaged reputation.
she was still able to return to her platform and continue creating content.
Continue creating.
The question is, should she have been given that opportunity?
Should she? It's a tough question.
Tough one.
On one hand, everyone makes mistakes.
Mistakes.
And if someone is genuinely remorseful and committed to change, shouldn't they be given a second chance?
Second chance. But on the other hand, there's a sense of injustice. When someone who has allegedly caused harm is able to simply move on with their life and career
Move on.
while their victims are left to deal with the consequences.
Victims left behind. And in Ballinger's case, the accusations against her were particularly sensitive
Sensitive.
because they involved potential harm to minors.
Harm to minors.
So there's an added layer of responsibility and accountability that comes into play.
Responsibility and accountability. Absolutely. So while Ballinger did return to YouTube and attempt to rebuild her career,
Attempted a rebuild,
the controversy continued to follow her.
continued to follow. The comment sections of her videos were filled with a mix of supportive fans and angry critics.
Mixed reactions.
The media continued to cover the story,
Media coverage.
analyzing her every move and questioning her sincerity.
Questioning sincerity.
It seems like she was stuck in this uncomfortable limbo.
Limbo.
She wasn't fully canceled,
Not canceled.
but she wasn't fully redeemed either.
Not redeemed.
Her career was limping along, but the shadow of the accusations loomed large.
Looming accusations. Right, and this brings us back to the core question of this deep dive.
The core question,
Grifter or gifted?
grifter or gifted?
Was Colleen Ballinger a manipulative mastermind who used her talent and charm to build an empire, exploiting others along the way?
Exploiting others?
Or was she a flawed individual who made some terrible mistakes but was ultimately capable of learning and growing from them?
Learning and growing. It's a question that doesn't have a simple answer.
No easy answers.
There's evidence to support both sides of the argument.
Both sides.
And ultimately, it's up to each individual to decide what they believe.
Individual decisions. But I think what's important to remember, regardless of where you stand on Colleen Ballinger,
Regardless of where you stand.
is that this case is a microcosm of a much larger conversation happening right now about online fame, power, and accountability.
Online fame, power, accountability.
Yeah.
Exactly. In a world where anyone with a camera and a Wi-Fi connection can become a global celebrity,
Oval celebrity.
the lines between authenticity and performance, between public persona and private life, become increasingly blurred.
Blurred lines.
Mm-hmm.
And as consumers of online content, we have a responsibility to be discerning.
To be discerning.
We need to think critically about the information we're consuming,
Think critically.
the people we're supporting, and the power dynamics at play.
Power dynamics. Because while there's no denying the entertainment value and creative brilliance of many online creators,
Entertainment value.
there's also a dark side to this world.
A dark side.
A side where manipulation, exploitation, and abuse can thrive under the guise of entertainment.
Under the guise of entertainment. And the Colleen Ballinger saga, whether you view her as a grifter or a gifted artist who made mistakes,
Grifter or gifted artist.
is a stark reminder that we can't blindly trust the personas presented to us online.
Blind trust.
We need to ask questions, demand accountability, and be willing to hold those in power responsible for their actions.
Ask questions, demand accountability. So as we conclude this deep dive, we leave you with one final thought.
Final thought.
In a world where charisma and controversy collide, it's more important than ever to be vigilant, to think critically, and to remember that behind the curated online personas, there are real people with flaws, complexities, and consequences.
Real people.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this journey into the complicated world of Colleen Ballinger.
Thank you for joining us.
We hope this deep dive has given you a better understanding of the challenges and complexities of online fame, the importance of accountability, and the power dynamics that shape our digital lives.
A better understanding.